Welcome back to News Geelong as we move into regional roundup for this week. 8-year-old Jan Juck boy Charlie Newman insisted on sharing words from the heart amid joy at a party marking his all clear from acute leukaemia. Charlie joined in with 150 family members and friends at the gala at Jan Juck Cricket Club and said how good it was to have finished 3 successful years of treatment for the acute lymphoblastic leukaemia. We all wish Charlie a continued long and healthy life. A bionic knee sleeve being trialled by Geelong footballers could put an end to disabling football injuries caused by poor landings. The training device teaches players to land properly, minimising the risk of anterior cruciate ligament injuries. Biomechanics and researchers are also working with doctors at Melbourne St Vincent's Hospital to develop the device as a post-surgery rehabilitation tool. And don't worry ladies, you have not been forgotten, as the Australian Research Council Centre of Excellence for Electromaterials Science are working on a bionic bra to save bouncing breasts. It's a bra that tightens with movement using bionic technology. The built-in sensors monitor motion, so they receive information that the breast motion has got too large and sends that info to the artificial muscle strap to tighten up. There is a big call for action on Sunday morning as the Friends of Corio Bay Action Group, all recreational anglers, will rally to protest about the extensive use of nets by professional fishermen in Corio Bay. The ecology of the bay is not as good as it used to be, and there are fewer fish. The expected 400 plus people attending will gather at the Haymarket car park in Myers Street at 10 a.m. before marching down Moorabool Street to the waterfront, continuing to push a level playing field as has happened in Western Port Bay with the complete cooperation between the Seafood Industry Victoria, Recreational Fishing Victoria and the local amateur fishing community. If you have not heard, there is lights at the end of the Cardinia Park Tunnel, and former Geelong dual premiership player Cam Mooney has said, "For the first time since I have retired, this one is the one game I really wish I was playing in," referring to the history-making AFL match under the new light towers at Cardinia Park being played tomorrow night. Geelong players trained on the ground under the light towers last night, and News Geelong was there to catch up with a very proud Geelong CEO, Brian Cook.
This is unbelievable. It's a great thrill for the club, the community, and certainly our Geelong supporters will, I think, just have more joy coming here. I think the lights will bring more joy to people's lives, whether it's through our football club or other events that are brought here. I think it's going to have a greater purpose than simply Geelong Footy Club.
And with the new stand and everything, it's a genuinely AFL class venue now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, look, our aim is to make this the stadium in Victoria, behind the MCG and Etihad Stadium. We don't actually see a need for much else to be developed. This is going to be a magnificent, for want of a better term, boutique stadium for 35 to 37,000, and it's going to have a great return for anyone who plays here. So we think economically it makes a lot of sense to come down.
So you say anyone who plays here, Cookie, does that mean you're still talking to the Bulldogs or the Kangaroos about playing here?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, our position has been that we would love to see some other AFL clubs come down here and play. We think that the take-home pay for them would be, substantial, and look, I think there's it would be good for them to do that.
Cookie, I'd imagine the hospitality sector of Geelong is pretty excited.
Yeah, no, they are. I mean, we've done some recent studies through Deloitte's, and every game now raises around $4 million in economic impact. Half comes to us, admittedly, and half is spent outside the fence. But that's $2 million in cafes, in hotels, in restaurants, with taxis. So it has an amazing impact on the community from that economic point of view.
Did you so genuinely excited about Saturday night? Well, I've heard about it's like New Year's Eve in the middle of the year. It's amazing you can just put on some lights, you have that sort of effect.
It's amazing. I noticed the publican on the other side of Moorabool Street today said this is like New Year's Eve again, and it'll be like this for another 6 times for this year. So people are really excited, and turned on by the stadium. I haven't seen people as excited. Admittedly, I haven't been back from US for a long time, but I haven't seen people as excited as they are to see what's going to happen with this stadium on Saturday night.
Did you ever imagine this day when you first got involved with the club all those years ago? Because things were pretty rough.
Oh, they were. I mean, in 1999 when I first arrived, there was basically 2 stands and a tin shed, which was our past players. And I remember going on one of the radio shows and saying, we're going to have a stadium fully roofed, 35,000 capacity, and at the time we had $10 million debt too. And I remember the commentator nearly choked, and it gives me great joy now to actually say, well, we're nearly there, you know. But no, we've come from a situation where we had a completely dilapidated stadium. The AFL were keen for us to move to Etihad Stadium. We didn't know if we could make it work, and we've just hung in there long enough and became successful over a decade or so, on the field, off the field, to the extent that we can now say that we're very proud of what we have. We say that humbly, with respect, but we are so happy where we are at this stage compared to 1999.
What does it do for the club, the fact that now you're going to have regular crowds in excess of 30,000?
I think it's a sign that we're in the big league. I think that whilst, you know, a lot of people feel that we're probably one of the better sides on field over the past, 50 years or so, I think that having crowds of 22,000 to 25 holds us back. I think it's great for our brand that we're moving up the ladder from a supporter point of view as well as an attendance point of view. I think it sort of completes our picture a bit more.
Can I ask, what's the crowd expected for Saturday night?
30,000. The capacity is 33, but we always get a percentage of no-shows. Hopefully there'll be less this week than any other week in the history of this club, but we know there'll be some. So we're expecting 30,000 people. And we still have, by the way, about 2,000 spots still available. And they go on sale tomorrow. We've done that on purpose. Yeah.
You've got a special guest coming back. What are you expecting the crowd to make of Gary's return?
Oh, look, I think they'll give him a big applause, and he does deserve it. In my opinion, best player in the AFL. Very, very unhappy to lose him, but that was the name of the game, and the need for national competition. I think he will get a lot of cheers. I don't think he will get any boos at all. The people love him here. They love his father. They love him. And you never know. In 3 or 4 years, he just may consider coming back our way. Who knows?
That was the next question. Is that a serious?
Oh no! Look, it's on the radar. We know there's no one's taking it seriously. I think it's more a dream, I suppose, than anything else. A bit adventurous, but we could do a lot worse.
8 home games from next year, Cookie?
Yeah, 8 home games from 2014. That's what we're expecting, and the AFL have indicated that they'll use their best endeavours to do that. And really, that's a sign of trying to get value for investment, because there's been $104 million now being placed into the 3 stages. And we think that for the return on investment, we need more games. We need more events here, not just football. We're supporting a T20 licence into the cricket competition. We're supporting Melbourne Rebels being down here, Melbourne Storm, Victory, Melbourne Hearts. And so if we can double the number of events down here in the next 5 years, that would be a great achievement for us.
Brought some special guests?
Yeah, no, we have. We've got the who's who of politics, and the Honourable Prime Minister and the Premier is coming down, the local Mayor. So we have the chiefs of each level of government, and our President's function has probably 100 different politicians in there, because the other thing is that we've received so much support from government. Of the 104 million, there's around about 80 million that's come from government, various levels, both sides of the political persuasion, and over the 10-year period. So we've got a lot of people who have helped us over the last decade.
Do you start talking stage 4 then with them on Saturday night?
Yeah, no, we already have started talking stage 4. We did a year ago. Stage 4 and 5 actually, Kingy. So look, we're here this weekend to celebrate stage 3 and the lights. And look, we'll take the pressure off people on stages 4 and 5 for another time. But it is an ambition of ours to finish off the stadium.
I'm not sure if this falls under your jurisdiction, but what's the beer situation on Saturday night? Heavy?
No, a bit mid-strength. That's there's been pretty much legislation passed at the AFL. It's a big decision that we have mid-strength beer.
Lammy's tent survived, doesn't it?
No, it hasn't. No, Lammy's is not around this year. We've got the Hoops bar this year. It's our own bar. We have a bar which is full of jumpers of all decades that we've had, and I think there's about 14 different jumpers we've worn. We've got a copy of each one. So the Hoops bar is taking over.
And does this bring back a few nice memories, just seeing the boys training at this time of night? It's going back to 20 years ago.
Yeah, we don't do it too often, I must admit. Even the years we've won the premierships, if you look at the lights we've had, it's sort of about 150 lux. We've gone to 1400 lux now, so we've sort of gone out of the country area into, I think, a sort of a strong metropolitan flavour about the stadium we have. And look, I think it's the best regional stadium in Australia now, which we're very proud of.
It's nice they've just turned those small lights on, actually.
Yeah, we might do that. Yeah, we might do that too. Yeah. I think we will. I think that players will probably try and assimilate the playing conditions more and more as time goes on. So if they play at 7 o'clock at night, they'll train at 7. And I think we'll do that more and more often. And we can do it now anyway, which is good.
So you mentioned the whole town and the region, how excited they are. The players seem pretty pumped as well. They're at the track nice and early.
The players are unbelievable. We had a tour of the facility this afternoon, and we just spoke about legacy, and we discussed the generations that have gone through Geelong since the 1930s, and in particular those players that are still around now have been part of 3 premierships, and how they've left a legacy. And this is what it is. I mean, we wouldn't have got these stands if it hadn't been for the players, and also for the great administrators like Frank Costa. And I simply said to them, well, what legacy do you want to leave? How do you want to be remembered as footballers at this football club? Because the ones that have gone, and we've still got a few left, this is their legacy. What's yours going to be? How do you want to be remembered by? So we had a long chat about that, and they loved what they saw. And if you go at the back of the stadium, you'll see there's a players on a roll. There is a players walk. There is the 20 magical moments up on in frameworks. So the whole stand is centred around players and the legacy they've left this football club, and not necessarily individual players and champions, but groups of players. And something that we're pretty proud of.
Thank you, Brian, and all the best for the historic night of great football in Geelong. Turning our attention to the world of weather for Geelong and the Surf Coast expected over the next 6 days. We have continued to see cooler conditions prevail the past week, shorter days between sunrise and sunset, and the lack of good rains. However, tomorrow, Saturday, we'll see cloudy conditions with areas of rain, easing to isolated showers during the afternoon and a top of 17. Sunday will be cloudy with isolated showers and a top of 16. Monday will continue with the cloudy conditions with isolated showers and a top of 17. While Tuesday will continue to be partly cloudy with isolated showers on the Surf Coast and a top of 17. Wednesday will be cloudy with an expected top of 17, while Thursday will be partly cloudy, isolated showers, accompanied by light northwesterly breezes, and a top of, you guessed it, 17. Today was cloudy with areas of rain with a top of 20, reached around 1 o'clock this afternoon. That's the weather outlook for Geelong and the Surf Coast expected over the next 6 days. This is News Geelong as we go to a break and return with Alex Tigani and this week's Top Sports Report.